In the early 1920s, before we had an FBI, we had a BI, a Bureau of Investigation. A young, ambitious, and unprincipled attorney named J. Edgar Hoover was hired in the BI, and one of his first assignments was to explore how to destroy the mass movement, revolutionary Pan-Africanist movement led by Marcus Garvey. J. Edgar Hoover learned the tactics of disruption, of surveillance, of the use of the law and the breaking of the law to destroy a legitimate social protest movement.
J. Edgar Hoover really got his start in the surveillance of black radicals. Hoover was the point man for monitoring and amassing an enormous file system. Among his very earliest cases was his pursuit of Marcus Garvey. J. Edgar Hoover had a particular thing in pursuing black leaders. It's partly psychological, it's partly social, it's also partly a reflection of Hoover's strange sense of morality. He felt that blacks had to be kept in check because if they weren't, they could contribute to the destabilizing of American morality.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
By the 1960s, Hoover's counterintelligence program had developed sophisticated infiltration and surveillance techniques, which were used against a wide range of organizations and leaders in the civil rights struggle.
He started his campaign against black people with Marcus Garvey and extended all the way to Dr. Martin Luther King. Every black organization, such as the NAACP, the Urban League, were under surveillance.
When the party says power to the people, we ain't jiving a pound. We say power to the people. And when the people say...
It seemed that we were gaining control in certain ideological thinking because we had such leaders as Malcolm, we had Stokely Carmichael, we had Rap Brown, we had Angela Davis. They were getting mass coverage in the press. Their influence was carrying over to white youth. And this psychological influence, according to J. Edgar Hoover, was dangerous.
The FBI's counterintelligence program, known as COINTELPRO, would take a heavy toll on the Black Power movement. Particularly hard hit were the young members of the Black Panther Party.
J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTELPRO operation had a very direct, devastating impact on the Black Panther Party. In every chapter there was at the very least, a serious informant. But most of the time it was not only an informant, but also a provocateur, someone who would be in the group to agitate, to confuse.
People on the East Coast were supposed to get letters from people on the West Coast and vice versa, talking about each other, and it ultimately caused a split within the Black Panther Party, but they weren't sending the letters. The letters were coming from the FBI.
I would say that Hoover's effect and his impact on African Americans and our attempt in our struggle for freedom has been extremely negative. He destroyed several black leaders. He destroyed and broke the back of numerous black movements.
It was learning at the feet of Garvey that J. Edgar Hoover became the monster that he was, the one who destroyed civil rights and civil liberties, using a state-sponsored terrorism that was also racist to destroy struggles for democracy by black people.